I'd like to call the meeting to order. And if you would, stand for the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic one nation under God, indivisible. Thank everybody for attending this early Tuesday morning after a long holiday weekend. Didn't figure I'd getting shoved back to work, but she showed. Go ahead, you get you gonna do it. Okay. I'll do roll call for Chris Cameron. Here. Neil Leslie.
Here.
Ricky Jernigan. Here. Councilwoman Catherine Terry notified us that she would be out today. Janet Moses, she's also out today. Commissioner Tim Murphy. Here. Janet Patel. Here. Ketna is also out of town, so Chris Wynn. Here. And we have a couple alternates here, Stacy Hall.
Here.
And Tessa Mott.
Here.
And real quick, I'd like to ask one of the things on my deal, so Mr. Chairman, if you don't mind, I'd like to go ahead and recognize them and introduce them. Stacy and Tessa are part of our hoteliers here in Columbia County. They're our alternates. As many of y'all know, if you've been here before, sometimes it's hard to get a quorum with business folks having attended their normal day-to-day activities. So with alternates, hopefully we can always maintain a quorum and be able to conduct business. So thank y'all very much for being here. Okay, this time I'll seek a motion to approval of the agenda as presented. So approved. Got a motion?
Second.
Got a second? All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed. Okay. Back to you already. You already took care of that. You already took care of number one. Yeah, approval of the minutes for the March 26, 2025 meeting. The chairman entertain a motion to approve those. Nobody have any question? I'll seek a motion for approval. So moved. Got a motion? Got a second? All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed. The next thing on here is the bed tax and the Smith travel report. We're actually been doing really good. And again, we owe this to our hoteliers for the new hotels and the work that they do. But also all the people that stay here in Columbia County. But March over March from 24 to 25, you can see that we're up about 53,912, 32.27%. And then fiscal year, we're also up about 150,807, positive 13.20%. So we're doing really good with our hotel bed tax days. Occupancy rate 9.6%. Average daily rate 118.24 room, which is up about 3.6%, but that's still good. RevPAR 85.54, which is up about 13.6%. And then our room sold to demand is also up about 22.7%. So that's good. More people are staying in the hotels, so that's a good increase for us here locally. So we appreciate that. Okay, before Clint, if I may, I'm going to adjust the agenda here just for a minute because we just talked about bed tax. And Stas, if you don't mind, I'm going to jump you up here and why bed tax is on everybody's mind. If you don't mind, give us an update and kind of show what we're up against. I think it's kind of be in line.
So, good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. So, a lot of you have heard there is a component of the tax package, the health tax package, that deals with TDCs. And the way this would go is that all TDCs around the state would be abolished. However, some counties can keep the tourism development department under 125 as a county department, just like public works and everything else that counties have. If the current form goes through right now as it's written, the TDC revenue that the county would be required to use that as general funds. Usually we just keep it in-house for TDC and for TDC purposes, but we would be at least given the minimum of 75% to use for general funds. And then the next year, the revenue would be used as a replacement to lower property taxes based on the amount of TDC revenue brought in. So there's a few components of that. Now, this is only in the House side. It's not in the Senate side. Currently, session has not adjourned officially. There is no state budget currently. We need to get a state budget done by June 30th. And because this is part of the tax package, it's interlocked with the state budget. So everything's in flux still. The only update that I can give is there's been talk about potentially coming back next week to start the budget conferencing process. I don't believe the Senate is for this TDC idea. This is something that came from the speaker because this is one direct way to affect property taxes without putting it on the ballot. And Speaker Perez has said that in a press conference at one point. So this is not me saying it. This is what he said. So as of right now, like I said, anything can happen, and this is all in flux. But just keep in the back of your mind that it would be up to the individual counties to allocate money for tourism development purposes if that's something that they wish to see move forward under this current proposal. So again, the House has a proposal that would get rid of the TDCs, allow local governments or local counties to use the TDC revenue for general purposes. That means anything they wish to use it on, which could be tourism. And then the next year they would go and do a revenue replacement rather than a supplement as it is right now. So that's the current proposal as of right now. So again, it's all under flux. We don't know where it's going to end up. I think the Senate will hold their ground on this. The House will probably have to give in at some point or at least change some of the components of this proposal. But it was put in the tax package to give relief for property taxes in the next fiscal year. That's how this came about. So that's just a brief update on what's happening in Tallahassee. Anybody have any questions?
So, real quick, there may be some people here that didn't hear your update at the last board meeting, but you remember the number, if Columbia County was to implement this, it's really not much of a savings for our local people.
Yeah, so I have to go back and look. If it was just homesteaded properties, so let's say the board now has to replace the revenue that they get from the hotel tax, put it into the general fund, but lower the property taxes. If you were to do just homesteaded properties, I think it would be about $159 a property. That would be your tax relief. I think, I forgot the numbers. If it was spread out among every property, it would be a lot less than that. So again, it's not really the large tax cut on paper. It's just a slight tax cut on property taxes.
Styles, if I may, a lot of this conversation started on Speaker Perez's side of the fence. When you get into your large municipalities, Dade, Duval, Orange, and what have you, their bed tax dollars are just off the chain.
Yeah.
And they've been after this for years now to try to figure out as to, how do you dip into these dollars for infrastructure repair and what have you, it just keeps on going. And, and if this were Clint, not to steal your thunder, but I mean, just here locally, what is it, 350, 400 out of bed tax goes straight to Southside Complex, correct? And, we're, that's a big hit. That's a real big hit. And, we're fortunate here. Stas, we're able to get a legitimate update daily, and Stas being hired on to do what he does. We've used him many, many times here in the last couple of months, and we're in a very unique year. So anybody that cares to reach out to their senator, drop them an email, because this we can't survive this. That's all there is to it. Not the plans we got coming in the future. And this is just a drop in the hat compared to what governments are faced with in the next, several years. There's a lot of unfunded mandates, if you want to say, on the horizon. And here we are still trying to grow a community. It's kind of interesting.
So, I mean, again, you can still sleep at night because it's still in one chamber. It needs to be in both and it needs to be agreed upon. But that's where things are. It was just introduced in one chamber, passed by one chamber. And it's really interesting, some of the dynamics. I mean, I keep saying it hadn't been this bad since 1992. Lawton Childs was governor and we had a state shutdown for 9 days. July 9th, they agreed upon a budget. And so I'm not saying that will happen, may not, but this is probably the most contentious it has been in Tallahassee since 1992.
So just for clarification on the revenue, so the TDC in the first year could continue to use, if the county so chose, we could continue to use 100% or 75% of the bed tax dollars in year one.
Yeah, so a minimum of 75%.
Okay.
As it's written now. So we take in the money starting July 1st if it was passed. Okay. You would be able to take 75% of that revenue from the hotel tax and the county would be able to use it for whatever purpose.
Where does the other 25% go?
It's up to the county.
Okay, so
They could use up to 100%.
Okay, I got you.
But a minimum of 75% had to be transferred over.
Now, in year two, though, is that a total loss? We lose all of the bed tax
So-
revenue for tourism?
Unless the county, the county would have to, let's say we raise $2.5 million a year.
Mhm.
So next year, when the county's making their budget, they would have to lower property taxes by $2.5 million. Gotcha. So that 2.5 would basically be a revenue replacement rather than a supplement. Now, it's up to the Board of County Commissioners, the people that write the budget, to disperse it however they want, because that technically tourism is a general purpose. But it would be up to the board of each county to decide.
But if the county continued to fund the TDC at $2.5 million, they would have to cut the budget elsewhere for $2.5 million because it's a revenue requirement.
Yeah, on paper, that's.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Chris, it's a very valid question, and that's the trickle down effect that I call it, because as an example, everybody in this room that pays a property tax in Columbia County, if you write a check for $1,000, $785 of that goes straight to the sheriff's office. So anything that the tax is cut, somewhere in our already general budget, has got to be made up.
Mhm.
Because, nobody's going to go in there and say, well, we want to cut law enforcement, unless you live in Seattle, cut law enforcement, by 30%. But that's a given. That's an audited number. It's, it got quite contentious, in the past elections, but it's a proven fact.
Mhm.
78.5 cents to every one of your dollars that you write a check for goes straight to the sheriff's office.
And I think there will be, this issue in particular will be it is settled and compromised on between the chambers. I think that will happen because I don't think they're going to, it's created a lot of attention. A lot of folks have gotten involved with this issue. And I think that, they say, okay, you may use some of that revenue for, it's a stylistic thing in the bill, shall versus may versus must. You may be able to use some of that money, and that'll be watered down a little bit. So, I mean, that's just an example of how this could change. Also, the TDs, one thing I did not mention was that this tax would have to be on the ballot, and then when it comes up for renewal. So, again, there are many parts of this. It's a little complex amendment that was put in under the tax package in the last minute, but it's not completed yet. But
So is this what a lot of the holdup issue is, or is it a lot of things wrapped up into that? And this is just a piece of it?
this is just a piece of so every year the legislature produces what's called a package. It's just one big bill regarding all the way the state collects revenue. And That was amended into the bill as people were crafting the budget, as the legislature was crafting the budget. And since we don't have a budget right now, this is part of that process. Because, well, you need to know where the revenue's coming, how much the revenue is going to be, and then you go and appropriate. So that's just where we're at.
My question to you is, so you said it's on one side of the chamber, correct? It hasn't made it to the other side of the chamber just yet. When you hear the two chambers or the one chamber talk, how do you feel? Do you think that it would pass the other chamber going forward or no?
They would iron out the language before they put it out there. I think right now there's a huge, currently the Senate version or the House version of the budget is $4 billion less than the Senate version of the budget. So there's a big gulf right now between the two. And it's unusual that we're taking this amount of time to agree upon things. So I would say that as part of the bigger picture, this would be negotiated out and then they'll be able to vote on it and get passed, however that final form works. So we just don't know when because it's so unusual right now.
Nobody else has any questions, Saj? Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Simon.
All right, moving forward. All right, financial report.
Financial reports are in everybody's packets. Mr. Chairman, we need to take a motion that they did receive the financial report.
Seek a motion for approval.
I'll make a motion.
Second. Motion, got a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed.
Okay, next thing on here, everybody's familiar with the funding requests that we get every year throughout the year for different events that we bring to the county that puts heads in beds at our hotels and spend a lot of money in our restaurants and gas stations and all that. So the first one that we have on here is the Columbia County Resources 2025 Florida Gateway Fair and the 2026 Florida Gateway Pro Rodeo. This $5,000 amount has been something that they've done for several years. These are great events, bring a lot of people in to our area. And we would seek a motion to approve that $5,000 grant for Columbia County Resources.
And board, just for the record, most of you know, I sit on that board, so I'll recuse from the vote, but I can still direct the meetings accordingly. So I'll seek a motion for approval or disapproval of this.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed.
Okay, next funding request we have on here, as most of y'all know, we did this for the first time last year. I'm very proud to say that it was a good event. We have some folks here representing this act again this year. And if you guys would like to say a couple words before we go through this.
Sure. Good morning, y'all. Thank you very much for your help last year. It was greatly appreciated. It was a very big success. I just have a couple bullet points real quick. We brought almost sold out Saturday night, and our projection this year is 3,000 people a night. So hopefully that'll be 6,000 for the weekend. Our goal is to definitely fill the hotels. A lot of people within the rodeo community, they have trailers that they pull behind them. So a lot of that went to, they bought RV spots at the fairgrounds. That money went back to the fairgrounds to help them out. The main thing is our mission is to help these kids. So right now we have 40 kids across the United States that we sponsor, whether it be buy them gear, send them to rough stock schools or barrel racing schools, anything that they want to do. If they need safety equipment, a lot of things. Another thing that we do is we give scholarships, anything that has to do with ag. So if they want to pursue college, for this year, we were actually able to give a $2,500 scholarship to a young lady in Louisiana that is going on to college now. And she has been pretty awesome for the team. She's been a team leader. We've kind of taken a step back on us running it and letting the kids do it sort of like an FFA. Sort of like an FFA, I guess. But this is one young lady that's with us. Her name is Callie Class. Her brother was the very first kid that we ever sponsored. And so they live in Vail. They drove over here this morning to come and sit with me and help me. We brought in 30 local vendors as sponsors. We boosted small businesses. We used the radio station with custom commercials. And then we used Facebook and we had over 98,000 social media impressions. This year, hopefully it's going to be way bigger. It's always hard to do something the first year. Hopefully you guys understand that, but the first year we did it was 2021. We had 1,200 spectators. 2022, we doubled that. Last year, we almost sold out Saturday night. And like I said, our goal this year is to bring 3,000 people a night in. We also have a mechanical bull. We have come to the rodeo here, the pro rodeo. And while we were there this year, I don't know how many people came up to us and was like, hey, are you guys coming back this year? Because you guys put on a heck of a show. Not to down the Florida Gateway Rodeo, but they said that our show rivaled theirs. And that was pretty awesome to hear. So if there's any questions, or if anybody's interested, I have brochures on what we do. You guys can see what we do. You guys are more than welcome to have them. And if you have any questions, I'll take them now.
Yeah.
Sir?
Yeah, I got a question for you.
Yes, sir.
Where are you from again?
So I reside in Crescent City, Florida, but I have a house in Columbia County. My kids go to school here.
In Columbia County?
Yes, sir. Come back every single weekend for them.
Yes, sir. Thank you. How many bull riders or rockers or whatever how many from Columbia County?
So I think we have 3 kids right now that we sponsor in Columbia County. Yes, sir.
And if I may, we just got some hopefully good news yesterday. We've had some geological issues out at the fairground, out at the rodeo arena with the expansion. Engineering told us yesterday that we should have a Swanee River water management permit by the end of next week. And we'll be going out to bid in 2 weeks with the infrastructure work. So that's the beginning part of, $5.5, $6 million increase. Modification to the facility out there. So that's a good thing, but we appreciate it. And then I think it was 3 weeks ago, we had the high school rodeo there.
Yes, sir.
It was, I just got a call yesterday from a gentleman down south, Mochobee, and it sounds like they're interested in maybe doing that next year.
Also, I just saw that there's a bull riding on June 14th that the Torres brothers are putting on. They live down on 240. So we strategically put our rodeo in September for a reason. One, the pro rodeo is in March. We don't want to compete with that. And then you guys have the fair in October. So we put ours in September so we don't compete with anybody. We just try to help out the best we can. That arena sits it has sat for a while and not been used. Yep. And so it's there for a reason. Let's use it, So if there's anything else, glad to answer it.
Anybody have any other questions? Shane, we appreciate it. Mr. Class, we appreciate y'all coming up here to represent. I've watched you guys perform in these events, and it's a great thing for the kids and brings a lot of people into the community. So we appreciate that.
Wouldn't be able to do it without you guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll seek motion here, correct?
Approve.
Got a motion?
Second.
Got a second? All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed.
Okay, the next funding request that we have here is a new event coming to the community, which I'm pretty excited about, looking at all the information. We have Cassie Miller and another representative here with her today. If y'all want to come up, I think you have a little presentation.
Yeah, I think you all have some information. I don't want to.
Clicker here.
Audrey LaFar, nice to meet you all. This is Cassie Miller. We're with Clash Endurance. We're based out of Daytona. We operate sporting events, which are triathlons, bike races, marathons out of both Daytona Speedway and Miami Homestead. We've operated events out of Road Atlanta, as well as Watkins Glen Speedway up in northern New York. So that's primarily the space that we play and operate in. You guys may be familiar with gravel cycling, maybe not. Gravel biking and cycling in general has evolved over the last probably 15 years or so. Everybody's heard the slogan, bikes share the roads. A lot of people that enjoy cycling and fitness are not willing to share the roads anymore, so they're looking for the roads less traveled. And so basically what a gravel bike is, it looks like a road bike, your Tour de France style bike, but fatter, grippier tires so they can ride roads like we have all over Columbia County here. And they can ride safely. It's that sort of sweet spot between riding on a road and sharing it with cars and distracted drivers and kind of taking your life in your own hands, and mountain biking, which is, you know, downhill, rocks, roots, jumps, and broken bones and knocked out teeth. People don't want to do that. So they spend their time during the week, you know, in their exercise bike, their spin classes, whatever, in a safe space. And then weekends, they're looking for a nice, quiet adventure like we have here. Now, Cassie's a Daytona native. I live over in Jacksonville, Old Florida. I think you guys have all heard the term, you know it. It's something that we can really showcase. And gravel cycling is I'll give you a few examples of large events that have grown. Probably the largest one in the world is in a place called Barry County, Michigan. There's a 125-year-old cycling race in Europe that goes from Paris to a small town in Roubaix. They use cobbled roads through the forest of World War I, World War II. It's a off-road ride that's been around for 125 years. So they go Paris to Roubaix. So these guys in Barry County about 20 years ago launched an event called Barry Roubaix. They have 7,000 riders that descend on this small little county, a town of 5,000 people that gets 7,000 riders the second weekend of April every year. This coming weekend in Emporia, Kansas, in the Flint Hills of Kansas, is Unbound Gravel, which is probably the most competitive, well-known gravel event in the U.S. They draw about 5,000 riders in to small little Emporia, Kansas, for the beauty of these roads that go through the middle of nowhere, which what Columbia County has. You see all these springs. This middle of nowhere has something that other places do not have to offer. So we want to showcase that as part of this Old Florida Gravel event. Bring folks down, use the road less traveled, and bring a different type of visitor to the area to see some of the natural beauty, and really just try to not impede traffic or cause heartache with some of the types of events that sometimes promoters want to bring to areas where it's a good type of visitor. We're going to be operating out of All-Tech Raceway. We're going to do some kids bike races on the Speedway on Saturday, and then the big events would be early Sunday morning, leaving property, and again, kind of heading south toward Tustanuggy, Fort White, out towards Brantford, up towards O'Brien, back over towards the Speedway. Again, trying to stay as far away from paved roads as possible, and bring a new type of visitor in. So I guess we can kind of click through. Let's go forward. I think I kind of touched on that. This is a great shot. Actually, this is just south of the Speedway. But, you know, Old Florida, time before theme parks and resorts, and we want to showcase that. We do a running event as well that weekend out of the Speedway, just out of the back door down Farnell Road. I think there's maybe 2 houses there. So it's nice. We can host an event. We have parking for days at the Speedway, again, without really impeding any of the local residents here on a Sunday morning. We talked about the youth events and some of our athlete demographics. You know, we may likely have some out of country folks. We're going to be pushing this heavily for out of state. We'll start Southeast region. And that's what the funding we're requesting will be used for, is the seed money to get people here. They have a saying at NASCAR, you get people to one event and then you got them for the rest of your life. We just got to get them here that first time, and people realize how beautiful the area is, and they'll keep coming back. So that's why I know it's a larger request, but we can provide receipts and document exactly where we're spending money. We're planning on sending Connery, one of our marketing managers, to these larger events with an expo booth, so she can talk to these thousands of people and explain it more than just selling the pictures that we have on social media. So pre-event content, I don't know if you want to touch on some of this on our YouTube social media. Our social media channels, we have about 25,000 followers on Instagram, a similar number on Facebook, email database of about the same for people in the triathlon, cycling, and running demographic space. This is a slightly different space with the off-road dirt riding, but we're investing to try to build this event. You can actually see this picture of my bike that's at All Tech Raceway, which we think is just a great host venue, being right off I-75 and I-10. Again, parking for days. It has some old Florida history there. If you guys know Wendell Durrance, the owner, that track's been around since the 70s, and just some of the old historic stuff that they have out of the South there with Old Bellamy Highway. Really a unique way to pitch and present Florida as more than just Mickey Mouse and cruise ships. So we're kind of walking through what our ask is, event marketing that would entail us going to some of these other large events to promote folks coming here to Columbia County, social media spend for advertising, expanding our reach, collaborative posts, and then video production. That's just the world we live in now. Everything has to be digital and pretty and quickly digestible. So it does take some investment on our part. We have some really good content people we work with. And that's how we're kind of getting to the numbers of the requests that we're looking for. Question you want to, and Cassie, she's from a hotelier background, so she can speak to 100% of that. But that's the idea, is we want to bring people to fill the hotels, let them see the area so they can kind of keep coming back. November is a nice time frame because all the big gravel rides that happen in those northern parts of the country are all shut down because it's coming up on winter time. So these people just have to stretch their fitness for, maybe another month or so to be able to come down here. November, I think for us is shoulder season as Floridians. It's too cold to go in the springs in November, but these tourists from Ohio, they don't know any better. It's just beautiful water. So they're happy to jump right in.
I'll just touch a little bit on some of those points that Andre has said about our hotel numbers and the people that we're bringing in. We put a really conservative estimate of what our attendance would be, just being a first year event. I've worked with TDCs and CBBs in Daytona and in Miami and Florida Sports Foundation. And what I don't ever want to do is come in and say, I'm going to have 3,000 people my first year and then come back to you with my post report and have a number lower than that. I would rather estimate that it's going to be conservative and then come back the next year and be like, look at what we did. This is amazing. So my initial estimates are for room nights are $770 for that weekend. And the reason that is, what that's based on is basically looking at our registration data from what our reach currently is in our email database, our Facebook, who our current attendees already are at all of our triathlon running and cycling events, as well as who the audience is for these other larger events, like Andre talked about, Unbound, Gravel Worlds, all of those. And so taking that into consideration and looking what our registration history has been, I basically look at the number of people we think we're going to get from out of country, out of county, out of the state, and then based on how far they're traveling from, estimate how many nights we think they're going to stay here. If they're coming from out of the country, they're obviously going to stay here, a number of nights. Because of what you guys have, do I think that they're going to stay here all 7 nights? Probably not, right? They're going to stay maybe 2, maybe 3 nights. They're going to do the springs. They're going to do the event. And then they might, go to a theme park, or they might spend another couple of days to go to the beach or something, but they're going to stay here for at least 2 to 3 nights. If they're out of state, they're going to stay here probably at least 2 nights. Out of county, probably 1 night. So just so that you guys, as the hoteliers that are here on the board, just so that you understand when I'm looking at these numbers and when I provide post data after the event of our registration numbers, which we absolutely provide, you guys will see exactly where those numbers are coming from, because I think you guys probably also know, as we get into like the world of Expedias and all of these other things, if we put a link on my website, I can't always guarantee that they're going to click that website. I can say, to say Courtyard, for example, I know that I have, based on your link, I've sold those 10 courtesy block rooms, right? but I don't know how many other people have stayed, or maybe I've only sold 8 of those, but you saw 20 bikes, or your front desk saw 20 bikes come in. So we know that they're still staying there. They haven't clicked that link. So we have other ways to kind of provide that support and data, is my point. Secondly, we do have all of our attendees fill out a survey when they come up to get their packet. So they must get a timing chip so that we can make sure that they're safe and that everybody that leaves the Speedway returns to the Speedway. And so in that, we ask them to fill out a survey. We usually get at least about 50% return on that, which is much better than sending out a post survey. That includes where did they stay? Where did they come from? Did they fly in? Did they drive in? It's all of that information that typically you might have to spend money for an outside agency to do that information for you. And instead we provide all of that. I know that I've shown Michelle an example of that. It's very detailed information. So we're happy to always provide those things as part of our funding on the back end, obviously with receipts and things like that. Part of the social media, video production, and event marketing that Andre was talking about is we're currently, Blair, who handles all of our press and media, and works out of the Tampa area, is currently working with several different podcasts, as well as a couple different networks in Florida. Spectrum being one that we typically work with, to make sure that we get the word out properly. And so in doing that, it costs money for video production and all of that to make sure that we have that up and running for our first year. Other than that, I think that's, I was going to let you know that we did already do our initial press release. And that initial press release had 572 pickups. Given those pickups, it would have been a possible audience of 200 million. I think that number is probably inflated a little bit. I don't think that 200 million people saw it, but we did have 572 pickups, which is incredible for just an opening press release.
And went out on Endurance Sports Wire, PR Newswire.
Yep.
Blair's not here, but she was in charge of global media and PR for Ironman for a number of years. And she's just working part-time now because she's got kids at home, which is great for us. That we have such a great resource.
But out of those 572 pickups, they included pickups in Canada, Hawaii, and the UK. Speaking to out-of-country residents, just really quick, we did have a meeting with one of our current vendors that we know will be attending the Bike Lab, which is a bike company out of Tampa. And they have had interest already from a UK bike company that's looking to sponsor as well. So, and come and be involved. So we know that people are excited and the word is getting out already about it. So we're really just looking forward to highlighting what you guys have. We've partnered also already with the Florida Springs Council. I've had a couple meetings with Brenda over there to make sure that we're just highlighting the area and impacting in a positive way. We don't ever want to come in and impact and overrun a city or a town. We want to make sure that when we come in, we choose volunteers from the local community and we're able to donate back to that organization, right, based on their volunteer hours. We like to just make sure that every time we come in, we're giving back to the community in whatever way that we can. So that's kind of.
We have a lot, sorry.
A lot of information.
Questions, and I apologize. It's a first year event, so we want to make sure we're laying everything out for you.
I want to go ahead and throw in a couple of asides. I think you guys know, or most of the people up here know that this is my world. I'm the crazy endurance guy, so I do events like this. But I did want to mention that though this is a first time event, you guys know that we have the 20 Bike Association already located up in White Springs, and that is going to make this almost like it's going to give us an audience of, I don't even know how many members they had. I was trying to get that, should have thought about that last night, but and all of those people, 20 Bike Association, they don't live here. They're in Orlando, Tampa, the president lives over in Jacksonville Beach, so when they do their events, they'll do their 50-mile off-road ride every January. They'll do 400 riders and they sell it out. I was telling Cassie, I have to beg for a spot because I'm a sponsor, because they sell those events out like that. So that's going to give us kind of like an instant in. We'll spread that to the SBA and that'll get us 300 riders right there. That's a given. So I think that this could be a good event. I look at this kind of like the drag racing event that we just did, where it's going to blow our minds. We're going to bring this thing in and we're going to say, oh my gosh, I didn't know it was going to be that big. So
Yeah, I think some of those other events that I had mentioned a lot of them are owned by Lifetime Fitness, huge fitness chain. They own Miami Marathon, a lot of other marquee mega events with tens of thousands of people. I have some old colleagues that work there. I know for a fact that they have a number of Floridians that are traveling, let's say for this weekend, to Unbound Gravel or to the Steamboat event, which is in August. So people are leaving Florida looking for events like this. There's Floridians that will do it, but we're more interested in bringing those other people here and showing them that we can do it better.
Which is why our timing for November was so key. It's kind of a shoulder season, as Andre has said, for the springs and for other things. There's not necessarily always so much going on north of Florida at that time because it starts to get, pretty chilly for people to be riding outside. We have some partners in Georgia and elsewhere that have already said that the timing is perfect and that they're really excited to come down and participate. You have a question?
Yes, of course, I've always got questions. This is the thing. Okay, $10,000 is a lot of money to put up front for any event. I don't care what it is. So with that being said, is any way possible? Okay, let's just say why didn't you just come in and just have the event without coming to us and say, well, hey, we need $10,000. I just want to make sure that $10,000, we get the receipts. Just say, for example, your social media may cost you $2,500 or something like that.
So our budget for social media is 5,000, and so we were only asking half of that.
Yes. So can you maybe give a scholarship or donate that $2,500 or $5,000 to the city of Columbia County and go ahead on with your event? Is there any way you can do this event for, just do the event without having us to pay you $10,000? Is there any way we can do that?
So I think I understand what your question is. And I think one of the things that I'll talk about in regards to just the social media aspect of it is, I did have a discussion with Michelle prior to submitting this application with their outside agency that you guys already contract and the followers that you guys already have. We have a further reach than that, and being able to link ours with yours and do collaborative posts, do collaborative press releases, all of that will bring additional attention to the county that would cost you money otherwise. So that's one kind of point just to the social media aspect of it. You were going to say something. Go ahead.
Yeah, I would look at it more as an investment. As I'm mentioning some of these other events, no event goes from 0 to 10,000 in 1 year, unless you're having Bruce Springsteen play. Or maybe not him these days. He's been in the news too much. Example. But, so I would look at it as an investment, and it's not just in the one weekend of the event where we're hoping to grow this. I don't want to just do a one and done. I'm not here to take $10,000 of the county's money and leave. That doesn't help you or me. I would like this to be a continual event that we can have annually. The other part that goes with these big events, I'm mentioning Emporia, Kansas, Berry County, Michigan. I can send you guys follow-ups to some of those events. But what people do, training for a 100-mile event, they don't just go from 0 to 100. They're people that they go there ahead of time to do a training camp, 6 weeks, 2 months, 3 months out. So there will be some residuals where you guys, as this event gets some footing and gets established in that cycling community, you guys say, hey, we've been seeing more people on those back roads. There used to be nobody back. And they'll be coming to the area to get ready for this event, or they realize, hey, that event was so great. I'll take my family there in March, April, or in July when it's so nice. They can go to the springs. I can go ride for a couple of days. So there'll be residuals that are harder to track. But that's, I think, part of the goal, and what we're asking for this support money is sort of the seed money to establish not only this event, but Columbia County as a cycling destination for people for the entire Southeast.
And I think too, just to your point, about donating back to the community, you know, I had discussed this with Michelle as well and have a meeting, depending on what time we leave here, with the Chamber of Commerce as well to discuss volunteer groups, things like that. That is something that we do. So groups that come and volunteer with us, we donate back based on the amount of hours that they work. We donate back to them and give a donation straight to them. No questions asked. It's just, here's how many people you gave us, here's how many hours, or sometimes it works better to do a bulk donation for them. So we do like to give back. Also, if we're looking at 770 rooms for the first, and then if you assume that those rooms are, you know, $110 or whatnot, that's where we're kind of trying to show that it's a reciprocal relationship. It's not just us like leeching.
Right. I see you scratching my back, I scratch you.
Yeah.
What's your target age? I know I'm in my 60s and this guy is like 18. What's your target? What's the
And so I think this is on our application. I don't know if you guys have a copy of that, but it's basically the largest amount, or I guess the bulk of the people would be between 35 and 54. It's a larger age group, but it's the bulk. I still got 15% in your age group. But what we try to do at all of our events, and Andre didn't really go into detail about our other events because that's what we're here for, but we are
We try to have something for everybody.
yeah, we're known for having something for everyone. So basically bring your whole family to our event because we have kids races on Saturday. We've got a midline relay, which is a competitive road bike race, but we're going to do it on dirt now. That will just be on the track. And then the next day we've got guests, these, 35, 70 and 100 miles, but also like bring your sister or bring your wife or bring your husband or whoever and do the 5K, 10K. Yeah, actually, I heard there's a mechanical gator somewhere, and I've been I'm trying to figure out where that mechanical gator is for Expo.
That's some of the engagement. She says volunteers, and that unfortunately that word is tossed around very loosely in large sporting events. You go to any major stadium, all those groups operating concessions or parking, or they're volunteer groups where it's a nonprofit that essentially gets paid to work. Where are you going to find a big workforce like that for 6 weekends out of the year? So we also work with groups to we have water stops along the way because we're going to be riding through the middle of nowhere, where we'll have, water, Gatorade, snacks, porta potties, the whole thing, but we need somebody to man those. So we'll identify groups and we'll look to you all for some suggestions for groups that we can help work with, where we can leave some funding behind. It's a great way for kids to get engaged and see people doing health and fitness and wellness activities that might be kind of out of the realm of what they normally do. We have those, as we mentioned, kids races on Saturday. So if there's some groups here you all want us to engage with, we are happy to do it. And we've done it before, but we're new to working in Columbia County. So, which is why we're here to make those connections and
So you're talking about doing this event. Yep. Yeah. So registration just opened. And so we're working towards, using this budget to go ahead and amplify that. And part of why we submitted now instead of later, because Michelle and I had talked about waiting till, August or a later time. We want to make sure that we're able to kind of project the best of what Columbia County has to offer. And I can't do that if we're not partnered. If I can't put your logo out there, if I can't partner with you on some of the existing like media, your socials, things like that, if we can't like partner together in a meaningful way, then, and I have to wait until August to do that, then it's not going to help either one of us as much as it would if we can get started and do it now.
Because Michelle, this is where she spoke of her, you, and Paradise will be working closely together, right then?
Yes.
Okay, got it.
So because the reach is greater when we work together.
So you estimate 700 rooms.
770 room nights.
770. I've seen your website. You have already declared the date a month ago on November 8th and 9th.
Yes.
I've just gone through your social media. It does show RV sites and other stuff, but there is no hotels anywhere.
So on our website, there's 2 hotels listed, and those are the hotels that did respond back to me. I did contact some in Lake City. I also contacted some in Alachua. And so currently on our website, if you go to plashendurance.com, click on Old Florida Gravel, you will see that we have Hampton Inn in Alachua, and we have Holiday Inn. Off the top of my head, I have a lot of hotels in Daytona, Miami, and here, so it's hard to keep them all, but there are 2 H's in Alachua is what I currently have. But I prefer to do more. We do send out emails to all of our registration as well as our entire database, which is 25,000 people. We send out specific travel emails, usually 2 to 3 per event, that list all of our partner hotels, all of those links, et cetera.
So I'm not sure how did you contact the hotels?
Email and phone.
Okay, and you got those information through,
I have it through like online, like,
okay. You gotta understand, when you do online, usually it goes to your corporate.
yeah, no, I understand. So my degree is in hospitality management from UCF. So that's my background is that, and I did used to work in sales. Yes, no, I understand. I ask for the sales manager. I talk to the local hotel. I also know that there's larger groups in this area. And so that's.
I just wanted to make sure the hotels in Columbia County benefit.
Yeah.
Because I've seen whenever there's an event at the All-Tech Racing, I have seen groups divide to Alachua.
Right, and here.
And here. So if the funding is done in Columbia County, I would like to see hotels promoted on your side in Columbia County.
I would love that. And I'm happy to provide you the list that I called so that if any of your hotels are on there, then we can discuss that. And I think that's something that Michelle and I had talked about, was that leaving this meeting, he said that there would be a couple of you here today that I could speak with in person. But I did contact several in Lake City.
But I think between Stacy and us.
You can contact us. I can let you know what emails.
Yeah, between us two, we can give you stuff in the.
Yeah, I would prefer to have hotels here, and Michelle and I directly spoke about that. I gave myself this the last time we spoke. I have a list of all of our hotels, every one of them, so no one is left out. And it has the contacts and it has the phone numbers and the emails. I could be wrong about that, but it does have phone numbers so that she can go and reach out to them and do her due diligence. And I did let her know that you would be here, and Stacy and Tessa. So that that's why I introduced you before, so that everyone is in contact and.
Because you gotta understand, it's All-Tech Racing. Because with your social media, their social media, if you connect, we have seen that a lot of the businesses move to Alachua County. So the Bentec goes to Alachua County.
Right.
While sponsorship is done by Columbia County.
Yeah.
That is something I have to mention, because when it comes to the site of All-Tech.
Yeah.
No, that's a valid point. We want to make sure that as we're building this event and we're trying to build this for a multi-year project, that it can be kind of a cornerstone on the calendar. We need to make sure we set this up correctly for the first year.
And the dates are also very important. I've looked at November 8th, and you're lucky you didn't have the UF games. If you have a UF games up here, this town is full up here.
Yeah.
And that increases the cost for your participants, because or they may not have availability of rooms. It's another thing to look when you're doing in September or November, October.
Yeah, that was part of looking at the dates that work for the Speedway. Don't have other marquee cycling events happening at the same time. We have our marquee event in Daytona is the first weekend of December. We draw about 3,000 athletes. We were twice a USA Triathlon National Championship. So we're trying to be as strategic as possible with the dates, but 52 weekends in a year. So
Is Alachua County a sponsor as well?
Approached them yet, since our course touches more like the edge of Swanee. We have not gotten into contact with them because, like I said, our focus was the Springs, more Lake City. And that's just where our focus has been, since technically All-Tech is in Lake City.
So how would you feel about removing the Alachua County hotels?
I mean, I'm not opposed to that if we get the funding that we're requesting. It's a conversation that I would have to have with them, given that, I have a courtesy room contract with them. I'm also happy to strategically place them differently. I don't have an agreement with them regarding emails, anything like that. So I'm happy to just include Lake City hotels specifically in any of those travel emails that go out. I don't have anything regarding social media agreements with them. So I'm happy to highlight Lake City regarding our social media all of that. Like, I'm happy to do whatever to make sure that the money is coming this way. Like I said, I had a small list before Michelle and I had talked that I reached out to, and I'm happy to provide that list of the people that I emailed.
One other thing.
Or-
Go ahead. I just want to remind the board also, they're asking for $10,000, but between myself checking the receipts and Michelle and Kylie do an excellent job with that, that doesn't mean they're going to get $10,000. So especially on the first time event, they've got to hold up their end, showing the hotels in Columbia County and the receipts and stuff that they've spent on all this social media. And that was another thing that, I'd like to thank them for. Usually on these events, we don't get people coming in this early to be able to link in with our social media and stuff. So I think for a first time event, they've done an excellent job of taking steps to this. But I just want to remind everybody, if they don't do their due diligence with this event, they're only going to receive what they turn into us. So I just want to make sure everybody understands that.
And Cliff, if I may, the point Daniil brought up is exactly where my thought process was going. I would have no problem supporting this. What Chris just shared with us, I've seen that participation up there, didn't realize it, but it's a big hit on Little Old White Springs, when they have them deals. And that's, so that's pretty neat, pretty well, you can pretty well say you got 300 in the basket, pretty close. But the downside to that, on the hotelers part of it, a lot of them are Jacksonville people / this is a multi-day deal, so it's not like a lot of your deals in White Springs where it's a 1 day and out. So they do have the 300 people got a higher opportunity to lay ahead of the bed, I guess what I'm saying. So that's a plus. And what Clint just said was exactly right. But one thing I would definitely ask is, if you want to say we're the first ask on the I can't tell you not to go to Lachue County and do nothing, but I would like, if we're going to give you this money or commit to it, I would like to see Columbia County hotelers have an exclusive, and just stop at that. And then, because, it's just simple. If you fill our motel rooms up, the people who ride these bikes are smart enough to go a little bit farther south and get a motel room, or west to Live Oak as far as that goes. And, because that's one of the things that you talk about the springs. We've got a fair amount of springs in Columbia County, but the truth is the majority of the springs lie in Swampy County. And I'm not sitting there promoting Swampy County. I'm just saying that, they only got a couple. I don't even know if we'll let Dumont participate in this. What do you think? Go ahead, Chris.
I'm just going to ask about the route. I heard from town thrown out. Where is, I haven't seen the map or where the route is.
Yeah, we're going to work through with the sheriff's department. Again, we're trying to stay as far away from paved roads as possible. So essentially out of the southeast corner of Alltech Raceway, heading out Farnell Road, down toward Tuscanuggy, Old Bellamy Road, to head back up north past the front side of Ishintucky Springs State Park, north entrance, down towards Fort White. You guys have the beautiful Olino Ishintucky Springs bike trail, which we're going to try to highlight that so we can kind of pass through those towns and through Branford without causing traffic. There's two spots where we cross Highway 27, and we'd be heading up north towards O'Brien. I can show you.
It's still working, so I didn't include it. And I did include in the package that we would provide those to you guys.
Just two things. One, most of that's in Columbia County is what I'm hearing. And two, I'm offering to help look at the route, and just, give some advice from a natural resources perspective. There may be some other, I'll call them hidden gems, like Kirby Pit is one of those that is,
I think I'll share with you.
Part of DEP's Ishintucky Springs State Park, and we could probably partner with them to get you in there. You know what I mean? So just offering to help.
Yes, I very much appreciate it. And actually, to be honest, a good friend of mine who lives in Gainesville, he has his own business, but he does his side hobby is cyclotourism, and he's got about plus 3,000 followers on YouTube. He runs a Florida Bicycle Adventures channel, and he knows every back road through the state of Florida. And he kind of helped me design the route because he lives half an hour down the road. He's up here all the time. And he knows exactly what we're trying to do, not trying to cause traffic for the locals. We're trying to give people want to pay to do an event because they want to ride roads like that, but they don't want to do the homework to find out where they are, how to get there, where to park. We just present that to them on a silver platter. Sign up, park at the speedway, you're in and out quick, and then we will take you on some of the most picturesque roads in the county or in the state of Florida, right under those old oak trees with the Spanish moss. We'll have photographers out on course. That's something we typically do at our events. We work with a company called Finisher Pick. So everybody along the route, we take pictures of them in multiple spots. We email them a photo package. So we're ticking all the boxes for drawing people here, but we just, again, are here looking for some seed funding for how best to position us to bring folks from outside of the Jacksonville and Orlando areas. The folks that may already be familiar with the area, we want to bring people from afar down here and show them that we can do it better.
And we can send you the GPS files that we have so that you can see what the route currently is.
The other thing too is we have one of 3 national forests right here, Osceola National Forest. Doesn't sound like the route's going to go through there this time, which is fine, but in the future, that might be something worth looking at. A lot of great roads out there to ride on.
There's a lot. Might be a little interesting right here at the beginning, huh?
I hear you.
Not right.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm all for this event, especially with Chris here and everything he's got going on. So I'm all for it. But I just want to make sure that Columbia County, the city of Lake City, Columbia County is we're taken care of first before we branch out to other places.
We understood, heard, and we will make that happen.
Anybody else have any questions? Mr. Chairman, for the funding request?
Got a motion?
Second.
Yeah, you got a motion. Mark, you make a motion?
The motion that we fund this $10,000.
Is that a motion? Second. Got a motion in a second. No other discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed. All right, we look forward to see what y'all can do.
Sorry.
Yes.
Looking at this the whole time.
Next thing on here is Stars, which we already got him. Then we go on staff. Yeah. All right, staff reports, first there is under me, very first thing, employee updates. I would like to introduce Kylie Mathis, who's sitting over here next to Michelle. She is our new hire for our office manager. She's doing an outstanding job. So far, it looks like you're gonna make probation, but I'll let you know that. But anyway, I'd just like to introduce Kylie and welcome her to the team, and everything's moving along good. So we'll update you guys on that.
Did you do a speech for us? Because I never met her.
She doesn't talk much, but she smiles a lot.
I made it fun myself. I really did.
Well, we are in trouble. Wait till the Houston family reunion.
But Kylie, would you like to say anything? All right, next thing on the updates here is our I-75 billboard update. Just want to let you guys know, I've had a few phone calls, hey, what's going on with this? The hurricane wiped out the brand new wooden billboard we had there. And we had some damage to the big billboard. It's got the electronic sign and all that on it. The wooden billboard is already, we have the PO, everything's already been done. There was a little hold up dealing with insurance and all that, but hopefully in the next couple of weeks, you'll see that being reconstructed. And a new face put on it. One thing I did want to bring up, the big electronic, I don't know how many of you guys have been by there lately. We have this lovely U-Haul facility going in next to it. So if you're looking from the interstate side, you can't see much inside anymore. But if you're on interstate, going south, you can still see the billboard well. The electronic board is out. Okay. It's had several issues over the years. Just got a price, well north of $350,000 to redo that sign. I wanted to bring it to this board's attention. I did not budget for that. In our budget that we're currently working on for TDC, and this is my opinion, guys, on the record, I think it's a waste of money because that electronic billboard has never been used like it needs to be used. If you're running 80 mile an hour down the interstate and something flashes up there, you're not going to see all what it is before you're past it. It's my recommendation, and I'll bring some more information back to this board at a later date, that we wrap that electronic board with a vinyl. We can replace it every couple of years, depending on if we want to do advertisement on it or depending on what our marketing scheme is for that year, to change that out. You can do that for $10,000 or $12,000 every 2 or 3 years versus, spending north of $350,000 to put something up there you really don't get good use out of. Just my opinion. Y'all think about it. I'll be bringing some more information back to the board, on that sign. Are there any questions on that y'all want me to look into when I'm getting this information together?
Just for the record, Clint, the new wrap on the wooden sign is not gonna be the one with $102 wood $100, right?
No, it's gonna make sure you. I'm not gonna do that.
Went in sports direction.
There's an internal joke here, y'all probably don't know.
No, we dipped into our marketing and advertisement information through Paradise, which is the way it should have been done last time. But anyway, we're going to feature some of our sports stuff for our tournaments on that. Chris has done a great job updating a lot of our photos and sports website and all that. So we'll be featuring a sports element on that side. All right, the next thing is a regional sports park, a 500-acre facility. We just got the RFQs back last Thursday. Monday being a holiday, obviously purchasing doesn't have my packets together yet, but hopefully tomorrow, the next day, we'll have those packets so we can start reviewing, what was proposed on the RFQs. And that will select an engineering firm to do phase one engineering and layout, surveying, all the stuff that goes along with phase one. So hopefully we can kick that off. Obviously, a lot of that depends on funding. We do have the funding for that phase one engineering. Stars worked really hard to get us to 750 legislative appropriation last year. As y'all well know, this board approved the match for that. So we do have the money to do that phase one engineering and surveying and all that. With that being said, we're all going to have to stand on the board. They did pass a resolution that they would not support this whole TDC stuff in Tallahassee. But that doesn't take it away from the fact that if Tallahassee passes it, we're going to have to do some funding mechanism on a local level to make sure we keep as much of our TDC money as we can. And that all goes towards building out this new regional park, along with partnering with possibly FWC and some other folks to do some different aspects of this facility. So just want to give you an update on that. The RFQs are in. We'll be selecting a firm here in the next week or so. So hopefully you'll actually see some stuff happening out there. The clearing across the road from the entrance to the 500 acres is the RP track relocation, which is board approved the match on that. Met with engineer yesterday. We've got the stormwater stuff laid out. So hopefully in the next few months, you'll see a building actually going up out there, and we'll have the RP track moved and start hosting some races on that too. Getting numerous calls on people already wanting to try to book a race in that building. I'm like, let me get a building up first. So good positive things moving forward on that. So any questions on the regional park? All right, that's all I've got.
Good, Mr. Michelle Moore.
All right.
In your phone.
First, I would like to say happy birthday to Kylie.
Oh.
Today is her birthday. Thank you. Today is also my 10-year anniversary with the county. I made it. All right, so on into our marketing update. So this is our Meta, which is our Facebook. We are up in followers and engagement. We decreased in April for impressions and reach, but that was due to we had less postings during the month of April on our Facebook pages. I did want to highlight two of our best posts for the month of April. One of them was a wedding that I helped a wonderful couple put together. And they were out at Lake Montgomery at the new Harder Pier. And it got quite a bit of reach, a lot of feedback on it. So I thought her pictures were wonderful and I asked for permission to use them and she granted it. So I thought that post was amazing. The other one was on our Growers and Makers Market that the city of Lake City puts on downtown. We do a post about it every month, and this one had quite a bit of reach for the month of April as well.
Very good, Mr. Chairman.
See?
Yeah.
Terry Phillips, she's doing a great job, and Lainey down there. So
Yes.
we partner with them, and I think that a lot of the events they have down there are just amazing, and it's growing. So that's the important part. Next is our Instagram. Now on Instagram, that's a different story. We are up on everything. Instagram has, it's a different approach. So reels, videos, stuff like that. Also a different demographic that pays attention to our Instagram as well. We are up in followers, engagement, huge increase in impressions, and our reach. Two of our best posts were the Moonlit Paddle at Chutney Springs is always a huge hit. And we actually did one on Rum Island, and it was very well received as well. To our public relations. So our PR momentum is pretty strong for April. We executed 7 targeted PR pitches and activations. It resulted in 14 media placements in April alone. Over the past 4 months, we've secured 51 placements, and we're continuing to build on that momentum. You can see here the estimated ad value and the impressions on those placements. To our campaign. So we have our spring and summer and the always on campaigns. They continue to deliver for us. In April, we saw a CTR of 0.40%. It is exceeding industry standard by 0.08%, and a VCR of 92%, which is 70% above our benchmark. Then onto our website. So our website, in April, it brought a 10% increase in our website sessions with consistent growth year to date. I've been working with Paradise on updating pictures and content that we had on there. It was quite old. I don't know the last time it was updated, but it's bright, it's vibrant now. It's looking so much better. We're adding things daily to it. This is probably another few months of ongoing work to be done to it. But I'm very happy with the way that it's turning out now. The organic effort, the continued content and social strategies are driving meaningful engagement towards our website. So looking ahead, I don't know if you guys are aware, we are working on a new sports website. Chris will talk more about that on his pitch. We're excited by the development of it. We have completed, I think, we're in phase 2 of that now. Am I right with that? I think we're going on to phase 3. Working with Paradise to create a better working sports website for him. So we're excited on all of that. And then our ongoing creative planning. We have deeper content and social initiatives that we are planning for in the future through the summer. Then I want to go into, we had, first time ever, we combined TDC week with Economic Development Week this year. For those of you who came, thank you so much that were able to come. I know it was during a work week. It's hard for everybody to get off, but it turned out really well. It was very well received. This is a video that I wanted to share with everyone. I would like to thank Economic Development, ISS Extension Office that we partnered with, and of course the Chamber of Commerce. Joey O'Hearn and his team were instrumental in all of this. We could not have done it without them. Huge thank you to them. This is the video, and some of us are in it. So it was a wonderful week. It was a long week. It was very tiring. The Blanche was wonderful. Town Place Suites was amazing. We visited somewhere different each day, and some of it was economic development related, some of it was tourism related. It turned out wonderful, and we had a huge success with it. It had a lot of great feedback. So we're hoping to be able to do the same thing next year and maybe grow it a little bigger. So next we have the monthly events calendar. So I don't know how many of you are receiving the calendar email blast that I send out every month. I have changed it a little bit. I separated out our monthly events from those that happen every week. And I'm gonna flip to the next and so you see the difference. This is what the weekly events are. So it goes out in the same email blast. It's just two separate pages. That way, when you have them under the weekly, which taking up a lot of space, and you were losing those monthly events as well. So this way, all of them get the recognition they deserve. And if anyone has an event you know about or you're putting on, it is not on my calendar. Again, I ask, please reach out to us, email, phone, let me know, and I'm happy to add it. We have quite a bit to offer. This goes all the way through the month of December. And then the other one is for the weekly events. And right now I don't have anything on Friday. I think Howpatter might be doing something on Fridays.
Live music every Friday
Okay, I need to add that on there. So,
and Saturdays, actually.
okay, I can put that on there too. So if there's anything else that you know about, reach out to me. I'm happy to add it. But this is what they look like now. The feedback I got on doing this was great. So I'm going to continue to do it this way, I think. I think it looks a lot better too. And that is all I have today.
It kind of touches with the 500 acres before we get into Chris's presentation. Myself and Clint and a couple, several more of us attended with Chris the Go Fish operation up in Perry, Georgia. If y'all have never seen this thing and not putting words in Chris's mouth, but hopefully we can put a deal together with the state of Florida to maybe put a light operation out here at the 500. You need to stop in Perry, Georgia. I've been going up there for, I know, 20 years. Of course, it's only what, 15 years old or so?
15, yes, sir.
And I never knew the same there. And it's just where it's located, but it's an off the chain kind of operation. And I personally have set 2 other families up there since we all visited, and they said, man, this is cool.
Awesome.
So we'll be going back in August ourselves, because we go to the Buckarama, and which is a big deal, but we're going to be bringing some other people up there. But that's if you haven't never seen it, like most of us haven't, it's a worthwhile stop. It's Perry, Georgia's right there. Bucky's is right up the road again. You can hit 3 things at one time, but it's where it stops at this area across. It's pretty neat to see. And I enjoyed it. How about yourself, Clint?
I mean, it's a good experience. At the first exit there, just before the fairgrounds exit. I tucked away back in there, but great family deal. I mean, you can go sit on a bass boat simulator and catch a bass, or you can get on a saltwater boat and catch a blue marlin if you want to. But, real impressive educational center. It's worth going to visit.
And we were planning on taking Jernigan with us. There's going to be a lot of school kids there, and we seen how you threw a rod. We said, we can't do that. We'll take you on that down. It won't have a hook on it. Okay, go ahead, Greg.
But,
Rick was with us.
yeah,
We went and we're different.
yeah, just kind of recap what's going on. Just kind of in this building phase, obviously, where we're just establishing a new base for the sports. In general, just building on what was already here and improving it as well as just to get it to where
like I said, that's solid foundations here. So now it's more events are starting to see us, they're starting to come in. And again, to like the events and rights holders that I'm, that obviously chasing is that same thing that we want to come in here and not just have a sporting event, but have a whole experience right behind it. So usually every step that I've kind of taken has been kind of towards that, along with highlighting the stuff in the, that's already in Columbia County. So, making points now, try to contact each one of these local events that's holding to the fairgrounds, to sportsways and all that stuff, so I can get their schedules to put out what they're doing. Because essentially I'm not hosting an event, I'm just promoting the area so they can do that. So again, same thing with the college, kind of reaching out, as they have events, this and that, so everybody can see these events that are obviously coming in and people are trying to break into this area. Social media wise, same thing. So we still got our Instagrams going and our Facebook, which I'll hopefully get to the point where I'm printing out the meta spec sheets. Facebook wise, it actually looks pretty good. Instagram, actually everything is up in the Instagram part of it too, but it's just small numbers. Haven't been running any kind of paid ads or promotions or anything like that, just slowly building it and chasing down some of the right holders so they can get it, start sharing it. So small pushes there. Play Easy, which was another big push that we did the last few weeks. I think we did a couple home comp seminar, little workshops in here for a couple of businesses, reached out to a few businesses, got really trying to get them on board so they can see it. I don't have the number, but I know it's more than 10 now. That's probably close to 15 of businesses I've actually contacted where the managers of such business wanted to kind of get more of a personal deal, connection with it. So they are, I guess, running their own profiles on there, which only takes a second to do it. And it's pretty friendly, easy. I don't know if you get a chance to look at it, but it really is user friendly. So it's one of the main benefits of that platform. So they can get on there, they can connect it. And again, as we hand that out to rights holders, so I had different posters. I think that's all the banner we had last time. There are a few up now. Before I know me and Michelle, we leave next week to go to a conference. So before I'm gonna try to get more up at all the other parks, just so those QR codes are kind of out. So everybody, again, they just connect that local business deal with everybody coming. We just had an event that came last week in the Mayhem in May. Same thing. We were able to utilize that, and I think they were I think all the fish, no, not fish shops. They went to Gators. I think they were raving about that place over there. They were able to kind of find it through there, and like I said, we just kind of poked through and made that happen. I know there are like 2 or 3 businesses running special promotions for the Babe Ruth events that are happening in a few weeks. So, like I said, it really is, that taking that forefront to connecting the businesses to people that are coming, and they have full control over it. They can put whatever kind of promotions. There's no set minimum or maximum, whatever. They can get in there and do their own branding, their own profiling set up with it, and that stuff is out there. And to our calendar. And I'm sorry, and touch base on the website. We are in the phase 3 of the website, so the layout. I think we just approved. We didn't approve the final one. We said yes with some adjustments. So they're actually in the process of making the adjustments to kind of make the layout. I'm really excited about it. It's going to look good. So that way it kind of gets in there, updates everything that we have in terms of main focuses and promotions. Obviously, the county run facilities, so Southside, South Columbia, but then also bringing light to the other facilities that are within Columbia County. Even if they're not county run, again, its whole purpose is there are facilities in Columbia County. This is what you can use, and it just links everybody to their sites and stuff like that. So kind of connects them there. Our sports calendar coming up had a few, obviously mainly a lot of stick and ball sports. So softball or baseball. Again, that's the 7-on-7 flag football or flag football for adults. It just happened this past weekend. It was a really good event, really cool. Especially for a first time event they held here. I think they had 30 teams in total, like 12 to 15 people per team. So sitting probably around that 350 to 400 athletes that kind of came rolling through here. Just like I said, all adults, some of them came with their families. Again, kind of enjoy. I know they booked up some rooms. I'm not sure the final number. He had sent me those, but I think they're around 20 or something like that. I mean, they're not a lot, but again, it was a small time event, growing. I think next year they're going to use it as a championship to their series. They're going to do a couple events, one down south, one in New Orleans, and one somewhere else, and finish it up as a championship here in Columbia County. Which for me, anyway, one of the cooler parts about it is that even for that event, that against 30 teams, for the adult event, it's actually a not bad size. I know softball, they usually filled out 10 or 12, for the adult side of it. You know, softball obviously bigger than the average of 40 teams on a small tournament. But for adult wise, it was a good solid event for a sporting event. But I think one of the cooler things about it is that there were teams here from 3 states. So they came from Louisiana, they were here from Georgia, obviously several parts of Florida, where the down south, Jacksonville, Pensacola area. I think they might even had a couple from Alabama. So, I mean, the reach was huge in terms of where these teams came from, which obviously leads to possibilities for them through different things like playing Florida and stuff like that. I already talked about that, which is why I also want to bring it here. Again, just because of the experience they had, they were super juiced. They loved the facility, they loved going out. Like I said, I know most of them did go to Gator, but I think they also kind of branched out because some people had their families. So they really enjoyed Columbia County, which is the whole deal is, again, when they come here, what experience can they build for their event here? And like I said, it definitely shows. Coming up in a couple of weeks, we have our Criminal Kim Babe Ruth stuff popping up here, which is kind of excited about. Hope of June is knocked out of the park. So again, I'll be reaching out to some of those local events, just letting them know it's coming. You have a lot of kids here. You're going to have a lot of families here. You know, do whatever it is, do something for them so we can get them in your door, so we can get them in here. Let's keep them in Columbia County as much as possible because they are going to be local, but they'll also be local to this area too. So you'll have teams surrounding counties, you know, that even if they're in day shot, they might find ways to get out. We're here, let's keep them here as best we can. Let's do that. But you see the little doodads that kind of put out there. This is just one of the things we're going to have. The sports commission, we're going to sponsor all the coaches meeting for both of those tournaments, and each team will get a swag bag. So there'll be a bag with some little doodads in it. This is one of them. Beware, this little wrist brace. If you cinch it up, the only way to get it off is. It is stylish, but I will tell you that it does not come off unless you cut it. So, you know, that is obviously not reaching, but at the end of the day, too, they're going to take Columbia with us everywhere they go. So, and then too, each athlete will get like a bag tag, stuff like that. You know, things to really kind of let the kids remember where they came from. Plus, it also has the QR code for Play Easy on it. It also helps to keep paper off the ground. I know they're kids, so this will probably make its way on there too. But hopefully they take it. But again, in terms of memorabilia, that's kind of what I'm pushing for. Again, as an athlete, ex-athlete, you know, those things that kind of make the whole experience fun are those things you're able to take with you from there, not necessarily throwing in the trash. I mean, these kids today, their juice is putting a whole bunch of stuff on their bags, and obviously, my son, how many bracelets or whatever can I get on? My daughter, too, how many bracelets I can get on from my dad? Like, hey, you're looking ridiculous. So, like I said, that kind of fun stuff is kind of upcoming. So. Babe Ruth baseball is second week in June. Can't remember the exact, but and then softball is that third week or fourth week. So again, if you're around, just come out, pop out, and just see the life that's going to be in there. The course commission obviously have the 10 up, plus I'll be around the whole time. So I'm just going to kind of come out and just see the impact that it has on the county.
Thank you, Chris. Okay, moving on, public comments. Anybody else in the public have any comments? Seeing none. The newbies on the block, y'all have anything to say? Okay, comments from the board? The next meeting is Wednesday, August the 20th, 2025. We have nothing else. Call for adjournment. Thank you for coming.